Everybody is frustrated in wrestling. The fans are frustrated, the wrestlers are frustrated, you're frustrated, I'm frustrated, your nan is frustrated. We're just mad all the damn time. Sometimes this is because we're crazy, but on occasion we are all very justified, especially those donning their gear and venturing towards the ring. So I'm Simon from What Culture, please do hit that subscribe button. This is 10 WWE wrestlers who were as frustrated as the fans. Number 10, Mustafa Ali. I do not get Mustafa Ali. What I mean by that is I don't get why WWE doesn't do anything with him. Aside from being great in the ring, he can talk, is adaptable, and has proven he gets what character is. For some reason or another though, he never gets more than a few weeks of TV time before he vanishes. He presented all these facts on Raw, which is why he got put in as the leader of Retribution, but have a guess what happened? That's right, before long, he just wasn't around. It's so damn weird. We were even told he was the SmackDown hacker, which felt like a huge missed opportunity as people were actually enjoying that one, and I honestly can't think of one time he's dropped the ball, so this is just the writers or management forgetting. So it's no wonder he's been a little bit peeved, right down to cutting fire on Talking Smack and Raw talk about why he's being overshadowed, and I can't give you an answer, Ali, but I do know that it is stupid. Number 9, Nikki Cross. This is actually a nice tale, or at least currently, because it ended with joy. After months of not being able to get her momentum going, Nikki Cross returned as an almost superhero, which was also an idea she had come up with herself. Lovely. Rewind to the 2021 Royal Rumble though, and things were different. As we built up to the elimination match, Cross was super mad that she'd been overlooked and promised to right those wrongs by entering the thing and winning. Sadly, this resulted in less than 8 minutes in the Rumble and she was gone, leaving fans perplexed. She'd been riding high with Alexa Bliss before this, then Alexa went bonkers, and Nikki, here's that word again, was forgotten about. Still, since then, she's either got bit by a spider, moved to Krypton, or become mega rich, and is now ready to fight crime and destroy villains, I suppose. Number 8, Ricochet. A number of people said that when Ricochet finally made it to Raw or SmackDown, he would be a can't miss. This was a true statement except for the fact no one accounted for. WWE seemed intent on not making it work. Now, Rick has been great in everything he's been given, but there's just so many bizarre decisions. Remember when we built him up for a match with Brock Lesnar so the Beast could eat him alive? Well, that helped, didn't it? Ricochet does have these weeks where he's allowed to shine, and he is so damn good, so I suppose we just have to wait till WWE stays the course. In front of a live crowd, there is no way this wouldn't be a success. He is too spectacular. He's also been in loads of stories that went nowhere. They start and stop almost as suddenly. It's the kind of unique talent that anybody would want on their roster, so who knows what the hell we're doing. Ricochet has shown us this angry side much like Ali has on our supplemental programming, but it also gets lost when everybody is doing it. In fact, it makes you more mad because now even their anger is falling on deaf ears. Number 7, Murphy. Someone give me the down low on this. Despite making a successful babyface turn even after trying to rip out Rey Mysterio's eye, developing a relationship with Rey's daughter, and having great match after great match, Murphy was taken off television and let go. Awesome work. You just need to go to his Twitter to see how annoyed he was, even describing himself as re-becoming the company's biggest secret. That's not good. Once the secret is out, it's meant to run wild, not be swept under the carpet again. It's why there's every chance he wasn't too upset about being released, because now he's able to offer so much more. I mean, look what he did in 205 Live. In order to be as legit as possible, he dieted down to the necessary weight. That is a dude that takes things to the next level, and what we're all looking for in 2021. Murphy was never really the flavor of the month though, so once he was broken up from Seth Rollins, he had nowhere else to go, but out the door. I kind of feel like WWE's going to regret this. Number 6, Cesaro. Another guy who unleashed on Talking Smack, Cesaro is allowed a bigger chip on his shoulder more than most. Ever since he's debuted, he's been in the conversation for the most underrated wrestler in the world. There's only so long you can do that before it gets dull. You know how good you are, but nobody's giving you a proper chance. His reputation preceded him then, and thankfully this year was the time we pulled the trigger. He had his main event run with Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, and while it was short, at least it was yet more evidence for this CV. The man is so good. You knew it was all true too, because the entire story was based on the fact that the Swiss Superman rocks, and WWE hadn't noticed. Whoops. Number 5, Cesaro Part 2. This one is more specific, but did come after the rant that Cesaro had already been ranting about because he needed to rant. And what do I mean? Well, despite being in WWE for almost a decade, he had never won or even been given a World Championship match. That is ridiculous. He unleashed all this as we do on Talking Smack, and it felt like more than just a promo. This was a dude who felt baffled by the fact he had never had a bad day at work and yet wasn't given the promotion he so richly deserved. I ain't gonna argue with him. Thankfully, as mentioned, we did get a little something in 2021, but until he does win the big one, I think all involved will be frustrated. I'm never against anyone being given a chance, but when you're as good as Cesaro, well, you should be allowed to roll the dice at least once. Number 4, Sasha Banks. If you haven't seen the Sasha Banks interview on Stone Cold's Broken Skull Sessions, you need to. She is just an open book, to the point Banks talks about the fact in 2019 she was so despondent with her current role, she felt depressed. Talking about the roller coaster of the last few years on the main roster, the boss admitted that she felt like she'd lost herself, which had taken a toll on her mental health. This wasn't helped when some stories were fabricated that she and Bayley were throwing tantrums after WrestleMania. I'm not surprised Sasha got fed up. It felt like a constant assault. There were definitely some struggles though, but they were understandable. Banks and Bales were smashing it as the tag team champions, and not only did they lose their titles, but they were pretty much directionless for a while after. There was also that stuff between them years before when they broke up, and then they didn't break up, and then they broke up, and then they became best friends. It was annoying to watch. Imagine being put through it. Thankfully, when she returned after her break, Banks was better than ever, but the frustration was real. Number 3, The Miz. The Miz's 2016 rant on Daniel Bryan that happened on the original Talking Smack was so good, people went out of their way to watch it. In a world where everything was scripted, the A-lister had found a way to just shoot from his mouth, and it rocked. The only shame was we couldn't pay it off, because Daniel had been forced into retirement. Miz admitted that he was genuinely annoyed that night for being left off SmackDown, and then when Bryan decided to take shots, he thought, screw it, I'm gonna let my thoughts be known and we can just take it from there. So there's no doubt that he was pissed off, but imagine the sheer excitement when it was announced in 2018 that Daniel Bryan was cleared to return. This was the first name on everybody's lips. Sadly, it didn't go as we hoped, so now the fans were grumpy too, and this really did feel like a drop ball. Suppose you could say that about the Yes Man's comeback in general. He was a bad guy within a year, despite being the most popular and beloved human being ever just months prior. My brain hurts again. Number 2, Peyton Royce. This one is bizarre. On March 8th, 2021, Peyton Royce cut a very passionate speech on Raw Talk that made everyone stand up and go, yes, she deserves an opportunity. That's not too dissimilar to other people on this list, but given that WWE had broken up the Iconics and rumors were it was to give Royce a push, it seemed smart to at least give it a go. But we didn't even try. This too, despite the fact that Peyton made some very good points about how the same old faces are getting all the same shots. And hey, look, she even threw in some poetic lines such as "my potential haunts me" and was close to tears at one stage. Seemed like a good platform to try and make a name for yourself. Problem was, Vince McMahon doesn't watch Raw Talk, hence why you can just shoot from the hip. And come April, she had been released. I mean, what even were the grounds? For losing her tag team? I won't understand this one for a while. We don't even know whether it was going to work or not, because we just guessed. Number 1, CM Punk. I mean, we could call him the king of being frustrated, and he had every reason to be so. CM Punk saw all the issues plaguing WWE and called them out time and time again. We should have listened. It boiled over for one Phil Brooks after the 2014 Raw Rumble, which is when he told WWE he wouldn't be coming back, and threw out the quote, "the view never changes" on Twitter, or in short, he was bored of the same old status quo doing the same old nonsense, which he had been highlighting since 2011 after all. It could have been one of many foibles that pushed him over the edge too, but I don't think a planned WrestleMania match with Triple H helped, especially as Punk knew who was going to win that one. I would guess that constant lies and never really being used as the guy, even though he was the guy, just got boring after a while, even more so when somebody is punching you in the face. This really was a joint effort though. We were all on the same page during the summer of Punk, apart from one man, and that individual was pulling all the strings. It's why I really can't see Punk returning to WWE, although yes, you never say never. But anyway, would we get what we actually wanted from it? Arguably not. Know of any other wrestlers who are frustrated as the fans? Make sure you let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Then head over to whatculture.com where you can read articles like this with your eyes. Come give us a follow on social media, and if you are watching on YouTube right now, which of course you are, give another video another click. My name is Simon from What Culture. Thank you for tuning in as always, and I will see you on the next one.